the longer cash sits, the more it loses value. Because the United States has an inflation rate of an average around 4% per year. Meaning every year you hold cash, it loses about 4% in buying power every year due to inflation. So, do you want to retire broke? If not, I recommend and highly suggest you open up an individual retirement account or an IRA. Now, you may be wondering, what is an IRA? Or you may already have an idea of what an IRA is. You may be thinking an IRA is just a fancy bank account where you can save up money for the future, when in reality, it's actually much more than that. An IRA or individual retirement account is an investment vehicle that can help guarantee you some security for the future. Now, there are multiple different types of IRAs. There is a traditional IRA and there's a Roth IRA. Those are the two most common. There is actually a plethora of different types of IRAs, but the Roth and traditional IRA are the two most common. Now, with all IRAs, you cannot pull the money out until you are 59 and a half years old. So it really forces you to save up your money until you actually retire. Now, you can't pull this money out beforehand without a penalty. So you can pull the money out, but you'll be subject to around a 10% penalty depending on which brokerage or account you open. Now, the two most common types of IRAs that we mentioned, traditional and Roth IRA. First, a traditional IRA, how it works is any money you get paid in your paycheck, you can put right in this account tax-free. So you don't have to pay taxes now. You'll pay taxes when you're 59 and a half years old when you take the money out. So this can be very good because you may be in a higher tax bracket right now, making $100,000 a year. But when you retire, you might be making less than $10,000 a year, which means you can save lots of money on taxes, as in the future you may be in a lower tax bracket, which is very good for saving money, as we know, taxes can take a huge chunk out of your paycheck if you make a lot of money. Now, the second type of IRA is a Roth IRA, which is much more popular with younger people. And the reason for this is because money you put into a Roth IRA, you have already paid tax on. But this money in the account is tax-free. So when you're 59 and a half years old or whenever you decide to retire, you can take that money out 100% tax-free. And the other beauty behind it in these IRAs is you can make trades 100% tax-free, meaning you don't have to pay money on your realized gains, which we all know a big problem with investing is you got to pay money, a big tax on your realized gains. So great thing about a retirement account is you can trade stocks, securities, bonds, etc. as much as you want, completely tax-free, which is beautiful. And so, you may be wondering, why an IRA? Why would you choose this? Well, as I've already explained, you get tax benefits, but also it can help increase your net worth. And also, it's just a very good investment vehicle, and if you start sooner than later, it is always better because of compound interest. See, for example, if you invested $5,000 a year for the next 4 years, and let's say your portfolio gets an average return of around 8%, you would have $1.3 million by the time you retire, which is a lot more than that little $5,000 a year, which would actually lose money normally because of inflation. But here, you're actually making money. You're keeping up with inflation. So this is the beauty behind an individual retirement account. Now, as you can see, an IRA is a lot more than just a fancy bank account or anything of that sort. It is actually an investment vehicle where you can invest in what you believe will do good in the future. And you don't just invest in stocks, you can invest in CDs, bank securities, bonds, safer things, which may have a lower rate of return, but is much safer. So, this is why an IRA or individual retirement account is a great idea and is very important to open because it is very important to guarantee some security for the future because you may never know what situation you will be in when you retire. So in conclusion, I think it is best to open up an IRA early, and it is best to do some research to determine which kind of IRA to open, whether you want a traditional or a Roth IRA. And that is my speech. Now, the sources from this speech were all from the Eshlam Library, and the two sources I got from the Eshlam Library were both two different books. Each of them were called Individual Retirement Accounts, One was by Donna Batten, and the other one was by Virgil L. Burton. And I did most of my research in the Echelon Library, but I also got a little bit of supplemental information from investor.gov. Have a wonderful day.